In today's video, I'm walking you through how to design the landing page of a fictional beard kits company. This is episode 3 of our Figma Speed Design series. And unlike the previous episodes, I decided to add my voice so that I can walk you through one step at a time. If you prefer this method over the previous episodes, please do let me know in the comment section. Before we get into the video, I would like to give a shout out to Benny Green for his constructive criticism on our last video and also contributing towards our new microphone. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and of course, drop your comments in the comment section. Let's get into it. So open up Figma and select the frame tool in order to get started. I'll come over here and select desktop. This gives me a new frame. But the size I prefer to work with is 1920 by 1080 pixels. So I'll simply come over to the frame settings on the right hand side here and type in 1920 for the width and 1080 for the height. I will zoom out, Ctrl plus, and I will change the background color of this frame to black, as you have seen the design. The next thing I like to do is to set the grid. So I'll click on the frame and I will come over here to the right. As you can see, layout grid, I will add this plus icon. Then I'll click on the grid settings. For the grid option, I will change it from grid to columns and I will set it to a 12 column grid by changing the count from 5 to 12. Press enter. The next thing I want to do is add some margin to the left and right of the frame. So I'll set the margin to 100 and I will leave the gutter, which is the space between each column, to 20. And this is the basic setting that I use for most of my designs. The next thing I want to do is to design the logo and the menu area of the landing page. So I'll click the text tool and type out beard. Let me zoom in a bit and type out beard-kit. The font that I'll be using is Nui Machina. Then I'll set the font weight. I'll set that to bold and I'll set the font size to 40. For the font color, I already have a color in mind. I'll just come over here and click on that. Then I can zoom out and align this to the left hand side of the first column. So there you have it. That's our logo, Beard Kit. For the menu items, so the next thing I want to do is set the menu items. For the menu items, I will simply duplicate this guy by holding Alt, then drag and just come over here. I'll set the font weight from bold to medium, then I'll set the font size to 24. These are settings that I've tested and I really like. So for the menu items, the first menu item is features. So I'll simply come over here, highlight this text by double clicking on it, then I will change this to features. In fact, I'll make this text regular. And that's for that. Then the next menu item is how it works. Then next is stay updated. I'm not doing anything complicated in this design, else I would have had to use things like components and variants and all of that, but I'm not doing that in this particular video. If you want to learn about variants, we have a video that will be linked somewhere around. Please do check that out. So the next thing I want to do is to ensure that there is even space between each of these menu items. And all I do is click on these menu items by holding Shift, then come to the right hand side here and click on distribute horizontal spacing. There's a shortcut for that, you can check that out. Click on that. That distributes the space between each menu item. Then I can come over here and align to the 12th column in the grid. So the next thing I want to do is to ensure that both the logo and the menu items are vertically aligned, and I can simply highlight all of these guys, then come over here and click on align vertical centers. Boom. And that's that for that. The next thing is the landing page text. I will also come over here and duplicate this logo, and the text says beard grooming for kings. For the text size, I will change this to 200. Quite large, I know. Then I would align this like this. Exactly, this is what I want, but I will bring this in further. But then according to the design, this text has no fill, it simply has an outline. And the way to do that in Figma is to come over to the fill or the color properties on the right hand side here. I will remove the color, I'll remove the fill, then add a stroke. Now by default, the color of the stroke is black, so you will not see anything on the screen. So I will click on the color itself, and if you know the X code of the color you want to use and just type the X code or something, but I know this color already, so I'll just pick it and move on with life. The next thing I want to do is bring in the image.
Soundstripe.
Cool. So I'll bring this image over to the right hand side here to the 12th column and ensure that it takes up 4 columns on the screen. So I'll just adjust this guy a little, adjust it a little. Map 1, 2, 3, 4, and this really is one of the things, or one of the reasons why you should use grids. It just enables you to be able to align things, even if in the final result things appear to not be in place, but grids actually allow you to be able to properly place things when you are designing. The next thing I want to do is to ensure that this guy is over this, because apparently right now the image is covering up the text. So the way to do that is to do Ctrl Shift then square brackets. That brings it up. If you don't want to use shortcuts, you can right click this guy and click on bring to front, so that brings it to the front of this. The next thing I want to do is I want to ensure that this image and the text is also vertically aligned. Click on these two guys, then vertical align centers. So let's preview the landing page and see what we have so far. Awesome, this is what we have so far. I think this looks pretty good and awesome. So let's continue the design. The next thing you want to do, or the next section, is the how it works section, and that's essentially a video preview section. So for this particular section, all I simply did was to go to YouTube and I took a screenshot of a video and I just added it in here. In development, the developer would know how to properly embed the video. Good, but I want this to take off like 10 columns in the screen. So even though it's not taking up 10 columns per se, I'm still glad with what we have. Then I will align it to the horizontal center of the frame. Cool, let's check out the design. Okay, this looks pretty good to me. There are some white spaces around here. I would crop those off, click on the image, hold Control and drag. Okay, so I would adjust over here as well from the top. Just crop it a little. Okay, cool. I like what we have. The next section is the stay updated section, which is like a form that collects people's email address so that they can know where there are new offers or deals. So that's what I'm going to do. Zoom out here, then extend the frame, click on the frame, then come over here and extend. I would simply come over here and duplicate this text, alt click, drag, and I'll change the text to join the beard gang. I'll change the font size to 80. I will make sure the text is center aligned, and I'll also horizontally align it to the frame. Then zoom in over here and come down here. So the next thing is the input box itself. So I'll come over here, click on rectangle, and I simply click here, simply create a box that is 100 by 100 for me, which pretty works, but I'll change the height to 70 and the width to, let me just adjust the width over here to something that I feel works. Okay, I'll remove the fill and I will add a stroke or an outline, change the text to the brown color, and we have an input box. So for the text, I will simply say your email address. Make it regular, and I'll change the font size to 24. Let's see what that gives us. I'll change the font color, the fill, to the brand color as well. The 24 pixel looks a little big in my eyes now, so I'll use 18. All right, that works. So let me zoom in here and drag this guy over here. Now this box looks a little too big, so adjust this guy over here, then adjust a little over here as well, then vertical aligns, and we're good to go. So the next thing is the button to join the waitlist itself. So click on the text, click on the box, alt drag, Then I will remove the outline or leave the stroke. Then I will simply add a fill with the brand color as well. Then the text, the color will now be black, and the way I will change this color this time around will not be to use this fill icon. I will use something that is known as the eyedropper tool. I'll simply click on eye and select the color I want, and that in fact is how I got this brand color. The brand color was picked from the image, this particular image. Then I will change the text to join now. Then I will adjust this guy and vertical aligns. Awesome. Highlight both, then press Ctrl G and center align this form. So let's check out what we have so far. Join now. This looks pretty decent to me. I'll zoom out here, click on the frame, then adjust this guy. So the next thing I want to add is copyright, and I'll simply come over here, click on the text, and I will just say designed and developed by Aremu Smog. Then I will activate this emoji, fingers crossed. Change the color to the brand color. Then change the font size to 14. Then horizontal aligns. Now, if you are wondering why did I add designed and developed by Aremu Smog, and that's because in 2 weeks time, which is the next video that we will be dropping, I will actually be developing this landing page using HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript. So if you're interested in that video, please do not forget to subscribe, like, and of course drop your comments in the comments section. So now we are done with the PC version of this particular design. The next thing I want to do is the mobile version. So in every design that I do, I always ensure that I do mobile version, because I'm a developer, and from a developer's perspective, if I'm giving only a PC design, there is literally no way for me to know what's supposed to look like on mobile. So that's why anytime I'm designing as well, I ensure that I design for mobile, and you should as well. So for the mobile version, I'll click on the frame tool again, and this time around, instead of desktop, I'll come over to phone, and I'll simply select iPhone 11 Pro Max, and we have that. I will drag this up to line up with this guy over here. Then I'll change the background color as well. I'll press I again, change the background color to black, then come over here and do the grid settings. So the next thing of course is the logo, and that's quite simple. Simply come over here, Alt drag. I just prefer Alt drag. You can also do Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Yeah. Then the font size will now be 20 on mobile. And for the mobile menu, we will not be using text. We'll simply use an hamburger. And to design an hamburger menu, I'll come over here and click on the pen tool. Then simply draw a line here. Press escape. Then come over here, draw another line. Boom. And we have that done. Then I'll change the outline to 2. Yep. I'll change the color to the brand color. And I can come over here and adjust the width just a little. You can make this whatever you want. Then come over here and you have that. I want these two guys to be closer, so I'll simply come over here, zoom in, double click, then highlight this particular one, then press the arrow up button, click on done, and I am indeed done. Then vertically align them, and we have that. So the next thing I want to do is bring in the heading text, of course. Come over here, Alt drag, you know the drill now. Then this time around, I'll change the font size to 80. Then I would adjust this guy from here. So for the mobile version, the grooming will be groomed with so there's an hyphen here, and I will just adjust this guy a bit. Yeah, beard grooming for kings. The font size goes back to 80. Good. Beard grooming for kings. Interesting. So I'll bring this guy down a little, somewhere around here, and of course I'll bring this image. I will simply align it to like the top of the end of and the kings. You know the control shifts, send this guy to the back. I think this looks pretty decent. So I'm not really using column per se right now. I just want something that looks good and the text overlaps over here on mobile. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so this is what we have right now. I'm not so sure about this menu, so I'll just make a few adjustments here. Maybe the width 1.5 and adjust this guy here a little. All right, so that works for me. The next thing, of course, is the product image. Come over here, alt drag. So the thing is, if you've done a good job on the PC version of your design, all you have to do is just make things responsive on mobile. So just clicking, dragging and dropping and copying, that's what you'll be doing majorly for mobile, and resizing stuffs just to ensure that. I'm doing edge to edge here now on mobile. For the text, you get the drill alt, and for mobile, for this text, I'll make the text 40. For this text on mobile, I actually don't want it center aligned, I want it left aligned. So adjust this guy first, then left alignment, then align it to the first column. Awesome. Join the beard gang. Amazing. Then for this input fields as well, duplicate. So right now, this is not in here. I'll do Ctrl X, click on the frame, then press Ctrl V to paste it. Okay, this is still going outside. So let me ungroup it. Ctrl Shift G, that's what you use to ungroup. And change the font size to 12. Yep. Adjust the width of this guy, and this time around it will actually be edge to edge as well, like this image. I would adjust the heights over here. Yeah, something like that works for me perfectly. Then I would do this edge to edge. Okay, bring this guy over here. Amazing. So I would duplicate this guy, text center aligned. Oh, we are not in the frame. Click on this guy, Ctrl X, come up here, Ctrl V or Command V, center aligned. Then I will do join now. Add a fill, change the color of this guy to black. Yep, this guy is not in as well yet. Ctrl G, come over here, click on the frame, then bring this guy down here. So I don't need this guy again. Let's have that guy. So just come over here, Ctrl G, bring this guy here. Awesome, amazing. So I can group these two guys now. And I think that the width, the thickness, the stroke of this guy is a bit too thick. So I'll come over here and set it to 0.5. That works for me. Then the next thing, of course, is the copyright. Then I'll change the font size to 10. Center aligned. Good boy. Come over here and drag this guy down. Remove this guy. Let's preview. I think this is perfect for me. So just a few adjustments here and there. This works perfectly for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you did like this video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and of course, drop your comments in the comment section. Like I mentioned, I would be building out this particular design in our next video, which drops in 2 weeks time. So please do turn on your notifications so that you will be among the first people to know when the video drops. Cheers, and don't forget to build like a boss.